Hello and welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Edition, Week 11, 2024. Well, last week we finally did it. We finally got over the hump. 4-0, undefeated, first complete winning week of the year. We had lots of one losses, kind of misses. I blame those on Tennessee. Did really well last week. We had Oregon. I'll go over the Week 10 notes, but 28-16 is the record, so we're looking great so far, looking right in line. So hopefully we can keep on going with like the 22-23 winning streak. Anyway, Oregon gives us the go-ahead win, so that way we can win all four bets. We were going to actually be short and be pretty much 3-1, but at the last minute, Oregon got in that touchdown. I'm so grateful, and over at Michigan, and really happy to see that. Georgia almost goes down in Florida, and I mean, they really struggled, Georgia. I mean, I know it's a close game and everything else, but Florida was on their third string quarterback. You know, it makes me really nervous on what's really going on in the SEC. I mean, it's so upside down. Georgia's struggling to close out easy opponents, but yet just lays to waste Texas in Texas, and they look like the best team ever. I mean, they're just all over the spectrum, you know, as far as being a dominating team. Same with Alabama. Alabama and LSU are playing. Game day is going to be there this weekend. And if you guys have a chance to check in game day, Olivia Dunn and Paul Skeens are going to be the guest picks. So I'm really looking forward to watching game day tomorrow. It's going to be really cool to see Olivia Dunn and Paul Skeens, both LSU. Paul Skeens is an alum, and Olivia Dunn is coming back for her 5th year because of COVID year. So really excited to see them too. They're dating. They've been dating for about a year. Really cool to see a couple like that. Anyway, Vandy owns the state of Alabama. How about that game, guys? I hope you guys picked the money line like I did. Won a whole bunch of money because they were the underdogs in that game, and surprisingly, and they just handled business with Auburn. And a couple dirty shots from the Auburn players on the Vandy players, but really got to hand it to Vandy. They are trending well, looking really good, and supposedly the SEC Shorts, the guy who plays the pimp for Vandy, is going to be at the Vandy game, so that's going to be interesting when Vandy plays South Carolina. Really looking forward to that game tomorrow. But they own the state of Alabama. I don't think that they've ever beat both teams in a single season. You know, to beat Alabama and to beat Auburn. So really proud to Vandy. They're going bowling. They won 6 games, so congratulations to them. And I feel sorry for whoever they play, because don't take them lightly. That's pretty much it about the Week 10 notes. Let's go ahead and get into Week 11. So hold on one second. Okay, so Week 11, we're going to start out with, these are some, I don't have my usual teams I like to bet, so I'm going out on a little bit of a limb, so this could get kind of scary for some things, but I'm making some educated guesses here, so don't hold my feet to the fire if things go completely south this week. I'm hoping things go terrific and we can do really well. But let's look at the first game. Miami, I think, is still number 5 at Georgia Tech. This is a good old classic ACC rival. Miami's been trending in the right direction. Their quarterback looks amazing. He skipped the draft last year because he was going to go in like the 2nd or 3rd. He wants to be a first round pick, which looks like that was a smart decision, because not only is he playing well in Miami, but he's also playing when there is no real good quarterbacks coming out in this draft. So really good for him to wait another year. Doing really well. He says he's gaining a lot. He's got Miami going in the right direction. Number, I think, 5, 6, somewhere right there is where the college football playoff committee put them. They're minus 11.5. Georgia Tech has a really good defense, like they always do. But this is minus 11.5. Miami's winning on average about 14 to 17 points per game. Really great offense. I don't want to spend too much time with this because I want to break down some more games. But I really like Miami to play this. It's at 11 a.m. Really looking forward to seeing a great game starting off like Miami and Georgia Tech. So let's go ahead and let's put Miami minus 11.5. You know, I just realized I'm looking at this board and I have 2 Georgia teams on this board. And hopefully that means some good luck, you know. The next one up is Georgia at Ole Miss. This game can go anywhere. That Ole Miss game, you know, we were minus 7 on that game last week, and they ended up just blowing the doors off of Arkansas. It was, 63 to 23 or something like that. I mean, it was not even a contest going into halftime anymore. I felt really comfortable starting out the gate like that in my first bet. Well, this time we know Georgia is struggling on offense and defense. Ole Miss is just on fire right now. I don't know what they found, whatever lightning in the bottle, but they are clicking. And Georgia's going to have to keep up with Ole Miss to keep scoring. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Ole Miss scored 63 points by themselves last week. So I'm looking at the over-under at 54.5. This could go completely in the opposite direction. You could see a great defensive game. But with Georgia coming into Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just rolling on offense right now, Georgia's going to have to keep up. It might be a little bit slow going in the first and second quarter, but by the third and fourth quarter, Georgia's going to have to start air raiding this ball. So I really like the over in this. This game is at 2:30 p.m. So, and I think this is a time when Vandy and South Carolina are playing too. So you're going to need 2 TVs to catch both games if you want to. But I really like the over at 54.5. Okay, the next one up is Mississippi State at Tennessee. We took Kentucky. And I didn't realize there were that many players on defense that were injured on the Kentucky team. I got really nervous, but also really excited because this was the game was going to decide if I was going to go 4-0 or 3-1. And fortunately for me, Kentucky just kept it out of reach as far as the points go. So I was really happy, even though Tennessee won the game, but Kentucky kept us going. Mississippi State, they're all over the place. They're not having a great season. They're dead last in the basement for the SEC. They've taken the place of Vandy this year. And Tennessee is struggling right now as far as finding an offense. I mean, they can't find... It's like they get lost in the locker room and they don't really find themselves until about halftime. Mississippi State is scoring an average of 14 to 20 points. Tennessee scoring an average of about 20, 25 points. Tennessee's defense is just depleted right now, as you can see with the Kentucky game. Kentucky's offense was rolling up and down the field with against Tennessee. Kind of shocking. Every time we pick Tennessee, they never covered their point spread, just like how we said this last week. So I'm going to go with Mississippi State plus 23.5. This is a 6 p.m. game. And I'm looking for Tennessee to win the game, but only win probably about 14 points, 10 to 14 points, maybe 17 max. So I really like Mississippi State in this. So that's who I'm going to go with. I'm going to take Mississippi State plus 23.5. And once again, there's a comparison here. We got Mississippi State and Ole Miss, both Mississippi colleges, just like Georgia Tech and Georgia. Pretty interesting. I never even noticed that till today. Okay, sorry about that. I was writing a 3 at first, so instead of just erasing it, it's a 2. So it's plus 23.5 Mississippi State. Next up, I accidentally put this in here on the board. I don't know why I did, but this is a really simple pick. It's Maryland at Oregon. I was trying to decide if I was going to take the points or not. It's really too close to call the way the point spread is. So I just kind of faded the game, and I didn't even realize I bet on the money line on this game. So Oregon's number one. They're going to do really well. This is one of those first time ever games where Maryland is going to Oregon. um, oh man! So when Oregon goes to Maryland next year, it's going to be first time ever. But anyway, not a lot to break down here, guys. Oregon's going to keep rolling. They're going to score their average 30 plus points. So we're just going to go ahead and take Oregon money line. It's at 6 p.m. Really easy game for them as long as they just keep doing what they're doing, keep winning by 30. They're just going to keep on cruising. So that's what I'm looking for them to do. So let's take Oregon money line. Okay, there we go. Oregon money line. Next up, an old. Here's another old Pac-12 team. Washington at Penn State. Man, that Ohio State. Penn State. Man, what happened to Penn State? They were doing great. They had Ohio State on the ropes, and just, man, Franklin, he just can't. The head coach for Penn State just seems like he just can't close out the games. I feel really bad for him because every year it seems like they have so much potential, and Ohio State, man, they just keep having their number, to beat Penn State. This kind of reminds me of back in the day when, the old LSU Alabama games, and Nick Saban was the Alabama head coach, and every year LSU will look great, and then every year they'll lose to Alabama. Every so often they'll have a trip up, and LSU will win, and LSU won more games against Alabama than Penn State against Ohio State. So I'm just it's so crazy. I know what the Penn State fans are feeling is what I'm trying to say is because, man, you're doing great. You're on top. You think this is it. This is the year we're going to beat Ohio State. You have the wide out. You do everything, and you just you just fall apart at the end. It's like literally trying to grab water with your fingers. It doesn't work. Anyway, look for Penn State to come out, play really pissed off in this game. That they had it. They're still not out of the playoff race. Yeah, they might be out of a top four. Where they get the bye, but they still have everything in front of them, and they really need all the eye candy that they can get. So I imagine that Penn State's going to come out here. They're just going to be really aggressive, play with their hair on fire, pissed off, wanting to destroy somebody, and use a team as a tackling dummy. And unfortunately, that's going to be Washington. And so I'm really liking Penn State at minus 13.5. No reason to buy down at half a point because it's still below 14. So I really like that. I don't need to buy down, but look for Ohio State just to level Washington, kind of like what Michigan did to Washington. It's just going to be a really great game to watch. It's at 7 p.m. Also, that'll be the time of the LSU Alabama game. So not sure if which game you're going to watch, either or any of them, but. We like Penn State minus 13.5, so let's lock it in. All right, so it's locked in, minus 13.5. Okay, so this week we actually have a few teams for the parlay, nothing too serious. We have Oregon money line, which we covered. Tennessee money line, we know that they should beat Mississippi State. Miami should beat Georgia Tech, and Texas is playing somebody. I can't remember who Texas is playing, so I'll put down Texas. And Notre Dame is playing Florida State. That was going to be another game I was going to try to decide. I was actually favoring Florida State in the points in that game, but I decided that it might be too risky, so I decided just to put them on the money line parlay. So we have Notre Dame. So that's 5 teams right there. You put like $100 on it. It's going to pay out a total of $150. So you win $50, pretty much half your money, which is pretty cool to go from there. So if you guys want to be the ultra gamblers, put $10,000, get back $5,000 in profit. Pretty cool. Just hopefully all 10, all the 5 teams win. If you're putting that much, 10 grand down. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you guys are doing well. We only have 3 more weeks of college football season, and then it's the bowls and playoffs. And I don't know if I'm going to cover the playoffs. I know some of you were mentioning that. We'll see. Usually that gets really tough to decide the playoffs and everything else. I try to stay away from um, betting into the playoffs because it's so unpredictable how things are going to play out. But we'll take a look and we'll go from there. So good luck, guys, and I will see you for week 12.